Hello, students. Today we are going to start the paper IGCSE Specimen Paper 2023. As you can see, the time for this paper is 45 minutes and there would be 40 MCQs. So you have to manage your time, not more than 1 minute for each MCQs. Okay. The second instruction is that you have to use the value of G is 9.8 meter per second square or 9.8 Newton meter per second for 1 kg of substance. Then the first question, as you can see, a length of string is measured between 2 points on a ruler. When the length of the string is wound around closely around a pen, it goes round 6 times, as you can see this. What is the distance once round the pen? It means the distance of one round. You can say you have to find the circumference or length of the one round. For this, we will see the initial reading is 2.4 centimeter and the final reading is 15.6. So you have to minus 15.6 minus 2.4 and divided by total number of turns. As you can see, there are 6 number of turns. So you divide this, and when you solve it, so you will get about 2.2 centimeters. This is the length of single turn. So right option would be A. In the second question, when does an object falling vertically through the air reach terminal velocity? As you know, terminal velocity is a constant velocity at which the air resistance, which is acting upward, is equal to weight. So we have to choose the right option here. When the acceleration of the object becomes negative, second option is when the acceleration of the object is equal to G. Now, C, when the air resistance is equal to the weight of the object. Yes, this might be correct. Yes. And D, when the air resistance is greater than the weight of the object. No, this is not. So now we see the third question. An athlete runs a 100-meter race in a straight line. The table shows how his speed changes with time for the first 5 seconds and the 100-meter total run. Okay. What is the average acceleration of the athlete between two seconds and 3 seconds? So you have to take in this time. And you will use the formula as we know is equal to final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. So here 5.7 is taken as final velocity, 4.1 is taken as initial velocity, and 3 minus 2 is the time. So when you solve it, so you will get 1.6 about this. So A is the right option. In the next question, you will see the gravitational strength on the moon. Value of G, small g, is this. An astronaut has a mass of 75 kg. This is the mass. So you have to find the weight. You know about that? Weight W is equal to mg. Substitute the value 75 times 1.6. When you solve it, it's about 120 Newton. So C is the right option. In the question number 5, Two objects P and Q are placed in a beaker containing a liquid. Object P floats in the liquid and object Q sinks in the liquid. Mean density of the P should be should be less than the density of the liquid, and the density of Q should be greater than the density of the liquid, as it can sink. So, which of the densities of point object P, object Q, and the liquid is possible? Okay, here we can see this is the density in the third column, which is less than the density of P. So this is not possible. Similarly, density of liquid 1, which is again less than density of the, it is not possible because density of the liquid should be greater as object P can float. 13.6 is greater than 11.3, but is also greater than 8.9, but because Q can sink, so density of sinks Q should be greater. So this is not possible. We select only left with the fourth option as it is greater than P and also less than Q. So D is right option. In the question number 6, a ball of mass 0.1 kg is hit by a tennis player. The velocity of the ball changes from 0 to 5 meters per second in this time. What is the average return for second on this? So now we see the Newton's second law. X is equal to m(e), and you know acceleration can be written as v minus u over t. So putting the values 0.12, v is 5 minus 0 over time is 0.6. So when you solve it, so you will get about I think 0.5 and 6 1 is the right option for this. Okay. Question number 7. This is a very interesting question, and the solution for this, first of all, we see here a balloon and a mass. This is the mass and this is the balloon here. Are attached to a rod that is pivoted at a fixed point P. The balloon is filled with helium, which is a gas that is less dense than air. The balloon filled with helium applies an upward force on the rod. Okay. The rod is horizontal and in equilibrium. It means clockwise movement should be equal to counterclockwise or anti-clockwise movement. Which action causes the rod to rotate clockwise? So, okay. Clockwise means the rod should move in these directions. This is the clockwise direction. Mean the moment produced by the balloon should be greater. Okay. We have to search the which are the condition, which are the possibilities here. First of all, we see A, moving the balloon to the 40 centimeter mark and mass to the 30 centimeter mark, moving the balloon to the 20 centimeter mark and mass to the 10 centimeter mark and moving this. Okay. Now we see the solution of this is here. As we are going to share the okay. You can see this. Given that the system is in equilibrium, we have clockwise moment, mean force produced by the balloon should be multiplied by the distance, that is 30 centimeter, and excuse me, force produced by the mass, and the distance of the mass is this. So the clockwise moment should be equal to anti-clockwise moment. When we solve it, you will get see the forces of 1.5 this one. It's mean we can assume that the masses of this object which is moving, which is hanging downward, we taken as this is assumed mass 15 kg, and mass of balloon is taken as 10 kg. Arbitrary values. These are not fixed, but we have taken this idea by this ratio because this is 1.5 ratio between these two masses. So if we take balloon masses, which is again has given less than the mass of the object. So one is taken as 10 and one is taken as 15. Now we are going to apply this masses. Moment produced by the balloon when it is 20 centimeter is 200 Newton meter, and the moment of the weight is which is hanging at 10 centimeter is 150 Newton. So you can see this counterclockwise moment is lesser than the anti-clockwise clockwise moment. So the option B is right option. Let's suppose here. See, because C and D are not possible, they produce the counterclockwise moment. A also produce counterclockwise moment, but B produce the clockwise moment. As we have seen the solution of this, the moment produced by the balloon at 20 centimeter will be greater than the moment produced by the mass at 10 centimeter. So we have to find the moment, clockwise moment. Okay, the right option is B. In the next question, you will see a hole is made in a square tile of uniform thickness. The diagram shows the tile hanging loosely on a nail. Where is the center of gravity of the tile? Okay, as you can see here, A is not possible. C is also not possible because these are at the end of the object where the masses are supposed to be very small or least amount. B is also at the boundary, and D is possible, which is seems to be at the center. So, center of gravity is a point at which the whole mass or whole weight of the body appears to act. So D is the right option. In question number 9, an object of mass 0.1 kg is moving forward at a speed of 0.5 meter per second. This is the mass. This is forward speed. A second object of mass 0.1 kg and at rest. At rest is supposed to be 0 velocity. If we take as this is m1, this is u1, initial speed of the first body, this is m2, and this is u2, initial speed of the second body. The first object strikes the second object. Okay. After the collision, the second object moves forward at a speed of this one. Okay. This is taken as second speed of the second object as taken as v2. You have to find what is the speed of the first object after collision. Mean you have to find the v1. You know about law of conservation of momentum. That is taken given as like m1, u1, m2, u2. Total momentum before collision should be equal to total momentum after collision. Now I substitute the values as when you put the values and solve it, you will see m1 is 0.16 times its velocity is 0.5 plus M2 is 0.1 and its speed is 0 because it is at rest. U2 was 0. Now this will be equal to M1. M1 is again 0.16 and V1 is to be calculated plus 0.1 times we are taking here down second object, which mass was 0.1 times 0.5. Okay, when you solve it, and you will get the answer about 0.18. Yeah, okay, we are going to calculate this. Zero point 0.1 something. So round off and you will get this. B is the right option for this question. In the question number 10, you will see a ball is at rest at the top of a hill. The ball rolls down the hill. At the bottom of the hill, the ball hits a wall and stops. Which energy changes occur? Okay. At the top, if we take this, the wall, this object is moving down. So at this time, at the top, its energy will be in the form of potential energy, gravitational potential energy, and when it start to move, this will come to kinetic energy, and when it to the wall, so this will transfer some energy to the wall and some to the surrounding. So gravitational potential energy, internal energy now is not possible. Gravitational energy to kinetic and internal, this is possible. Kinetic to gravitation, kinetic to this are not possible again because the starting energy would be gravitation. So this is the right option. In the question number 11, a man climbs a ladder. Which quantities can be used to calculate the useful power of the man? We are going to use the formula power is equal to work done over time or energy over time. Okay. Weight of the man, here is no weight, and time taken only no, because power, the burden can be written as force into distance, or force can be taken as weight, but distance and time is also is not possible. The weight of the man and the vertical distance moved only. Here is no time, so this is also not possible. The work done by the man and the time taken is possible. And the D option is the work done by the man and the vertical distance only. Here is again no. So C is the right option. A student uses the thumb to push a drawing pin back, thumb back into a notice board. Okay, the pin goes into the board but does not penetrate her thumb. Okay, which statement explain this? Okay, first of all, we see the formula pressure is equal to force over area. So pressure is, you must remember that it's directly proportional to the force and inversely proportional to the area. Mean to say, जहाँ पे contact area कम होगा, here would be pressure will be more. So ever see in the option A, the force exerted by the pin on her thumb is greater than the force exerted by the pin on the notice board. No. the force exerted by the pin. Here force is considering, so force is not concerning there. We are seeing the pressure. Only the pressure of the pin on the thumb is greater than the pressure at the pin. No, pressure at the top is would be less because contact area was more between thumb and nail, top of the nail. So this is also not possible. Only the D, the pressure of the pin on the notice board is greater, yes, than the pressure at the thing. Good. So D is the right option. A submarine is a board that can travel below the surface of the sea. A submarine is 20 meters below the surface of the sea. The pressure due to the seawater at this depth is P. Okay. On another day, the submarine is 26 meters below the surface of the freshwater, and the density of the seawater is 1.3 times the density of the freshwater. What is the pressure due to the freshwater? Okay. First of all, we see the pressure in liquid is P is equal to density into G into H. At the depth of 20, it would be rho G n times H is 10. And if we make density as a subject, so this would be pressure over 20 times G. This is taken as question number 1. Now we see the pressure of the water at depth 26 with the density 1.3 times the density of freshwater density of it. So density over 1.3 because we are taking that pressure at distance of 26 meter of freshwater. So density would be 1.3 lesser than the density of the seawater. And then G and H is 26. Okay. Here we can see density value is P over 20G. So we put this value here. This value will be substituted in this equation. So you will get P over 20G times 1.3 here G 26. So you can see G will cancel out and 20 into 1.3 and also cancel 26. So we left with only P. So here is B is the right option. This is a little bit tricky question. So first of all, we have make a question, equation for density and then put this density in the pressure in of liquid or fresh water at 26 meter distance. Okay, now the question number 14. When particle of a gas collides with the wall of the container, the wall experiences the pressure. Okay, again, what is the cause of the pressure? You know, we have read about the force produced by the change in momentum, rate of change in momentum. So here A option, the change in energy of the particle. No, this is not possible. The change in momentum is possible. The change in power, not possible. The change in speed, not possible. Only this thing. Because change in momentum will produce the force on the wall, and that force is equal will produce the pressure. Here, experience the pressure, as you can see. This depends on change in momentum, because change in momentum produces a force, and this force will produce the pressure. Question number 15. A substance can exist in 3 different states: solid, liquid, or gas. Each of two statements below describes a change of state. First state, we see particles move much closer together but continue to travel throughout the substance. You know about that. This will occur in state of liquid. And particles stops traveling throughout the substance and just vibrate. Vibration motion is only possible in solid form, as we have read in state of matters, properties of the solid, liquid, and gas. Here we can see which changes of the state do these statements describe. Change state one, change to state, condensation, melting. Condensation will occur only in, it's not possible in gases. Condensation and solidification, yes, possible. Solidification, no, solidification not possible. So condensation, because this is melting, so we have removed this option A. Now only the option B is correct, because condensation, this shows the liquid or solidification, solids. Copper is a type of metal. A block of copper has a mass of 2 kg. Okay. The block of copper absorbs 12,000 gram of energy, 12,000 joule of thermal energy, and specific heat capacity is this. Okay, this is the mass, this is the energy, and this is the specific heat capacity. Now we are using the formula E is equal to NC, change in temperature. You have to find the change in temperature. M is mass, C is specific heat capacity, and delta theta is the change in temperature, and E is the thermal energy. Putting the values, 12,000 2 times 385 change in temperature. So when you solve it, you will get it about 15.67. So right option is this. We achieved the answer of question number 16. Let's see. Okay, now in the question number 17, we see the diagram shows the gap between a hot surface and a cold surface. The gap can contain air as a gas, iron as a solid, a vacuum, or water liquid. This okay, cold and this state. And the gap, which material in the gap allows the quickest transfer of thermal energy between the surfaces by conduction. Here is conditions taken that the process is conduction. So conduction is only possible in solid. So we remove the air and vacuum and water option. So B is the right option. This is the quickest way. As you know, in conduction, occur in the solids, and in the solids, atoms are closely packed, and also due to movement of free electrons. So that is why the process in transfer of energy in conduction will be greater. Okay, in the question number 18, which about boiling and about evaporation is correct. Now you know the differences between boiling and evaporation. Boiling takes place only at the surface. Evaporation takes place only at the surface. No, it's not possible. B takes place only at the surface, again boiling, and evaporation takes place throughout the liquid. No, this is not possible. You know, boiling will occur inside the liquid and throughout the liquid, and evaporation occur at the surface only. C option takes place throughout the liquid, and evaporation takes place only at the surface. This is possible. And we also see the D option place throughout the liquid and evaporation takes place throughout the, no, this is not possible. So the only right option is C. You have to save your time like such these questions and utilize these time to numerical type question, as we can see in the question number 19. Light travels at a speed of this. This is the speed v in a glass block. In the glass block, the wavelength is lambda. The frequency you have to find. So you use the formula v is equal to f lambda. Speed is 2 times 10 power 8, and this is frequency, and 4 times 10 power minus 10. So when you solve it, and after solving you get 5.3 and 7, 5 times 10 power 14. So these are the items. In question number 20, this is also a question, this is also a type of question which will save your time. In a shallow tank, a water wave moves through the barrier with a narrow gap. The diagram shows the waves on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the barrier. Which term describe that fact? You know, this is the bending of the waves when it passes through the small gap. So this process is called diffraction. In the question number 21, which statement describes monochromatic light? So you know monochromatic, mono stand for single, chromatic means single frequency or single wavelength. So option A, light that travel diffracts, never diffracts. No, light that has a single frequency. Yes, it's possible. We also see light that spreads out when shown through a glass prism. No, that is dispersion. D option, light that travels at the same speed in all material. No, so B is the right option. In the question number 22, an object displays 8 centimeter is the object distance U from a thin converging lens of a focal length of 5 centimeters. So object's placement is this 8 centimeter and the focal length is that. Which statement about the image format formed by the lens is correct? As we have read about the different options or different possibilities of the image formed by the converging lens, when the object is before the focal length or its image always real and inverted. Here we can see the option B, the image is real and upright. No, image is virtual, so these are not possible. So only the this thing. You must remember that the object, when it is before the focal length is placed, so its image is always real and inverted. Only two option is when it object is at F or beyond F or near to the lens, between the optical center and F, then the image will be virtual and upright. Now the next is the a ray of light travel throughout the transparent plastic to air. Okay. The ray of light enters the air traveling parallel to the surface of the plastic. The refractive index of the plastic is this. Okay. You have to find the angle. Okay. When we see the diagram, you see this is moving here to here and become parallel to the boundary. Mean this is the critical angle. You know, when the light become parallel to the boundary or angle of refraction is equal to 90 degree, that would be, so at this condition, the incident angle is called critical angle. And in case of critical angle, we use this formula for refractive index 1 over sine C. Put in the values. Refractive index is 1.25, 1 over sine C. C is to be calculated. Now we write it as sine C is equal to 1 over 1.25, and C would be equal to sine inverse of 1 over 1.25. So when you solve it and calculate with the calculator, you will see the answer would be about 53. D is the right option. In the question number 24, what is the speed of the electromagnetic waves in a vacuum? Okay, you know, electromagnetic waves, all the EM waves traveling with the same speed. That is, we have read about in meter per second. That is 3 into 8 meter per second. But here is given the values in centimeter, kilometer, centimeter, and kilometer. So if we see in centimeter, in kilometer, if we write it as like that, 10 power 5, and 10 power 3 meter per second, and 3 into 10 is 5 kilometers. This is the prefix 10 power 3 stand for 1000 or kilo. So option B is the right. Okay, which is just wait. There's the azan. After azan, we will start the class. Okay, student. Now we're going to start the question of this paper. I mean, specimen paper 2023 0625 from question number 25. A pulse of sound is produced at the bottom of a board. The sound travels to the water and is reflected from the sea bed. Okay. The sound reaches the board again after 1.3 seconds. The seabed is 1000 meter below the boat. Okay. Using the information, what is the speed of the sound? Okay, this is the echo sound or reflection of the sound. So we use the formula V is equal to 2D over time for the speed of sound. Put in the values, 2 times 1000 divided by time is 1.3 seconds. So when you solve it, you will get about 15,086 or round off करेंगे. So we get into decimal place is 1500 meter per second is the speed of sound. In question number 26, a sheet of ice float on water. A source of sound S is positioned at the edge of the ice sheet. 4 microphones are placed equal distances from S. Okay. Which microphone detects the sound from S first? Okay, see. In A, there's the source for the traveling of sound is air. Here is source is the liquid. Here is also liquid. And but here is the source is solid. So you know the speed of sound is quicker or more will be in solid. So the microphone B will detect. Right option is B. In the question number 27, the diagram shows a bar magnet and a 4 floating compass, which compass correctly shows the direction of the magnetic field due to the magnet. You know, magnetic compass is represented by this arrowhead, and this arrow shows the north pole, and the starting or tail this shows the south pole. And you know, north or south will attract each other. Here you can see we have to show the correct position of the compass. This north is not repel, this is not possible. North, south is, wait, north, south, north is not possible. Only this is north, south attract. So this D is the right option. In question number 28, a plastic rod is rubbed with a cloth. The rod becomes positively charged. What happens to the plastic rod and what is the charge on the cloth? Okay, you know, when two things rub to each other, there would be transfer of electrons from one object to the other object. And as we know, when the object losing the electrons will get positive charge and the object which gain the electrons will get negative charge. So here we can see plastic rod gain the electrons, gain the electron, no, because the rod become positively charged. So this should be loose. C, lose electrons and charge on the cloth should be negative. Yes, it's possible. And D, lost electrons and positive on the cloth, no. So C is the right option. In question number 29, electromotive force of a mobile phone battery is 3.7 volt. What does this mean? Okay, 3.7 joule is the maximum energy of the battery can provide. No, we have to see the definition of the EMF. You know, electromotive force definition is that the amount of energy supplied by the battery to move 1 coulomb of charge throughout the complete circuit. Here we can see B option is the total energy that battery can provide before it has to recharge. Now, C 3.7 of the energy is provided by the battery to drive a charge of 1 coulomb around a complete circuit. This possible 3.7 joule of energy is provided by the battery to drive a current of 1 ampere. Now, this current ampere energy drive over here. So there's no possible, only the C is the right option. Okay. In the question number 30, a computer engineer wants the speed of a fan to increase when the temperature inside a computer increase. Okay. The engineer knows that a larger current causes the fan to turn more quickly. Okay. Which component should be placed at X to make this happen? Okay. As we can see here, there's the change or increase or decrease in the temperature. So the device which control this or resistor control this is always a thermistor. We place thermistor at point X because relay, transformer, and variable resistor are not having this function to control the temperature. In question number 31, a water heater is connected to a 230 volt. This is the voltage. And there is a current I 26 ampere in the heater. It takes time 20 minutes. This is the time. Water to heat the water to the required temperature. How much energy is supplied by the heater? You know, V is equal to VIT. Putting the values 230 times current is 26 time t is 20 minutes. So you convert this into second by multiplying by 60. And when you solve it, you will see about its answer would be 7.2 times 6. So D is the right option. In question number 32, an electric kettle has a metal casing. The cable for the kettle contains a wire that is connected to the earth pin of the plug. Okay, because the metal casing is so, it is supposed to be dangerous. Now see, which danger does this guard against? Option A, a cable to the kettle becomes too hot. No. A casing of the kettle become live. Live mean it the current will passing through the casing. This may be possible. First we see C and D option. The casing of the kettle becoming wet. The casing of the kettle overheating is also not possible. So only B is the right option. In question number 33, an electric current can produce a heating effect and a magnetic effect. Okay, which row shows the effect that a relay uses and one application of a relay. Okay, you know, relay is a device which use the magnetic effect and it used to on the large circuit by using small amount of current. That is the function. So now we see here heating effect, no. Magnetic effect, yes. Now say COD में से कौन सा possible है? Allowing a small current to the switch on this one, switch on the large current or changing the voltage of AC now. So D is also not possible, only C is possible. In question number 34, the diagram shows a bar magnet and a coil of wire. The bar magnet is moved at the same speed in each experiment. Okay, in which situation is the largest electromotive force EMF induced? You know, the magnetic field lines or magnetic flux passing through the coil. In this case, magnetic lines moving as object is moving. In A option, only magnet is moving, coil is not moving stationary. In option B, this moving outward. So number of magnetic lines will be lesser in coil. In C, both are moving towards each other. It is possible. And here, both are moving in same direction. So यहाँ पे भी magnetic lines will be lesser. Here is also lesser. And only this will be the possible where the maximum magnetic field lines passing through the coil. So this will produce more EMF as maximum number of magnetic flux or magnetic lines are passing through the coil. So C is the right option. In question number 35, increasing the transmission voltage in transmission cables reduces power loss. Okay, and this power loss, what is the explanation for this reduction? The current decreases. Okay, we see power loss is actually P is equal to I square R T. This is the formula for power loss. So current decrease, reducing thermal energy loss, and the current decrease in option B, increase the flow of charge. No, B is not possible. The resistance of the cable increase, reducing the current. No, not visible. And resistance of the vehicle decrease, no resistance. So only the current decreases, reduces the power loss or thermal energy loss. In question number 36, you can see there is an electric current in a straight wire in the direction into the page. This produces a magnetic field around the wire. Okay, all the field lines are circles, but only one field line is shown. Okay, here magnetic field line is in the form of circle. As you can see, this is the magnetic field line and this is the current. And there is a cross, cross shows the current is into the paper. You know about dot and cross diagram. Dot mean moving, current is moving out of the paper, and cross mean current moving into the paper. So we put we use the right hand rule, right hand grip rule, not right hand flaming rule. We are using just right hand grip rule. So thumb is moving into the board and curved finger are moving in clockwise direction. Like is that. Direction of magnetic field lines will be this, and also these lines are not equally distance because some are closer and as they are moving away, so their distances will also be larger. Now we see which row describe the magnetic field. Direction of the magnetic fields, anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise. No, this would be clockwise. As we can see, current is moving into the paper. So when current is always moving into the paper, so the curved finger will be in the direction of clockwise. C option, clockwise, clockwise, and then spacing between the lines equally spaced over the whole field. No, more widely spaced further from the wide. Yes, C is not possible. D is the right option. Okay, the next is the diagram shows emissions from a source passing into the electric field between two charge plates. As you can see, there are two rays. One is moving straight, one is moving down towards negative. We know there are three rays, alpha, which is positively charged, positively charged होता है, heavy particle होती हैं, move towards the negative, beta, negatively charged, fast moving electrons, and the third one is gamma, that is neutral, uncharged. So what is it? What is emitted by this source? From the diagram, we can see neutron, A option, and gamma particle? No. Alpha particle and beta particle? No, because beta particle must move to positive. Alpha particles and gamma particles, yes, this is possible. D, beta particles and gamma particles only. No. So C is the right option. Okay. Now in the question number 38, you can see we show in the table describes the process of nuclear fusion. Fusion is a process in which smaller nuclei combine to form a heavy nucleus and identifies the change in total mass. Their masses will also reduce because some of the mass will convert it into energy. And this process is occurring at the surface of Sun, where small hydrogen combine to form a helium nucleus. Now we see the options. Process a large nucleus splits into two smaller. No, this is the fission process. Fission is the breaking off or splitting of heavy nucleus into smaller nuclei. B option, a large nucleus split. No, again, two smaller nuclei combine to form a larger nucleus. Yes, possible. And the mass would be decrease. Yes, and D, two was yes, increase in mass. No, this is also not possible. Only the C is the right option. Okay. In question number 39, the orbit of the moon around the Earth modeled as a circular path of the radius system. This is the radius of the orbit. The orbital period is this. The time for this 10 hours. What is the orbital speed of the moon? Okay, this is the question related with new topic, that is space physics. And here we find the speed by this formula. 2 pi orbital speed is always 2 pi r over t. So put the values. 2 pi value we are taking 3.142 times radius is 3.8 times power 5 and time is 710. Okay, when you solve it, so you will see the answer. Okay, you solve it, so you get the answer is D. Yes. Okay. Now the last question is, which statement does not describe redshift? Okay, redshift, there are two shifts, redshift and blue shift. Redshift means towards the object, moving towards the earth. Here, all the see the option does not describe. All the light emitted from all distant galaxies is at the red end of the spectrum. No, the light arriving at the Earth from a receding star is always redshift. Yes, redshift and the wavelength of the observed light is longer than it is if the redshift had not occurred, and the light from the stars in all distant galaxies move towards this. Okay, B, C, and D are right option. A is only the incorrect. So here is A is the correct answer for this. So students, this is the solution for this specimen paper. Best of luck. Allah Hafiz.